Hello, my name is Cassidy Carrico Ellis, and this is my observational research project. I chose to observe a community of people experiencing homelessness that live by the San Lorenzo River levee near downtown Santa Cruz. I selected this population because I had previously worked with people experiencing homelessness at a local agency, and there's just a lot of negative discourse in my community regarding this population, especially the ones that stay near the levee. I wanted to observe this community to dispel false narratives about those people in the community. My research plan was to go to a spot that I know is pretty popular for people who are experiencing homelessness, where they kind of hang out and stay in that area. The sociodemographics of these participants are low or zero income, primarily unhoused individuals, and some of which do use substances. I did 2 days of observation, the first one on Wednesday, November 19th around noon, second one on Wednesday, November 26th at 12:30, and that was the day before Thanksgiving. I wanted to be aware of my surroundings, so I didn't really take too many notes while I was out there. I kind of just took brief notes of things that happened and then mostly summarized when I was back to my car and I knew that I was safe in my surroundings. I compared the 2 observation days to find some similarities and differences in the population that was out at the levee on each day and sort of compare and contrast the notes from each day. And I also compared my thoughts and feelings after each observation day to sort of summarize it. I found that there were many people who were riding by, walking, or passing by on bikes or by foot. Because there is a pretty popular bike path that it goes along the side of the levee. There were lots of people who were lingering on the sides of the bike path, some of them with a lot of their personal belongings in shopping carts or backpacks, so that suggested that they were experiencing homelessness. And the energy on the levee was pretty friendly with the people who were out there spending time together. Nothing really too sketchy happened, and there were a lot of people in groups, in crowds, some people staying alone, some people who were getting some rest in a pretty popular area where they might feel safer, people who were sharing food and chatting up and just sort of spending time with their community. I did observe some substance use, variety of substances, including what I could assume to be heroin or fentanyl, possible methamphetamine, marijuana, and tobacco. There were some social service agencies that were out there giving some people resources, including food and warm drinks. That does show that there is some support for the people that are out there living outside. Like I said, there was a strong sense of community among those outside and limited scenarios that were sort of frightening, aside from a couple of shouts that turned out to not be too serious, no violence or anything. Very limited matching of the stereotypes that people in the community perpetuate about the people out on the levee. Really not too much scary stuff. People sort of regard it as an open-air drug market, or where people steal stuff or commit crime, and it didn't seem that way to me. And I did notice that it was a little bit quieter out there on the second day when I went to visit, because it was the day before Thanksgiving. My reflection is that the stigma around people experiencing homelessness is not accurate. People really have a lot to say, and they don't understand the situations that people are in. Showed the humanity side of the people that are out there on the levee, just real people living day to day. I did observe some litter, but no needles, which is also often perpetuated in the community, that they're just throwing dirty needles everywhere, and that's posing a public health hazard. And I didn't feel at all frightened or uncomfortable, despite the rhetoric that those people are dangerous. I did feel at ease knowing that these people are a part of my community and that they're not scary or dangerous, based on my reflection and my observation. People who experience homelessness and people who use drugs do deserve the same respect as anyone else, as our neighbors, as people in our community. And another reflection is that the social service agencies that are out there helping people help to alleviate the stresses of experiencing homelessness in these highly populated areas.